Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth November horoscope video for the Sun or the Ascendant. Before I begin, I'd like to briefly tell you about my year 2021 personal horoscope special package. This gives you a forecast and a character analysis. But also, if you order now in 2020, I'll give you the rest of this year free. Get 30% off this package based on your time, date and place of birth. It's totally individual to you and will give you searing insights into what you can expect in the months ahead. Please see beneath this video to click on the link to order. Welcome Libra to your monthly horoscope for November for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to this channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. This month begins with two planets in your zodiac sign, your ruler Venus, dignified in Libra, and also Mercury, the planet of communication. They came together on the 27th of October. But of course, Mercury has been in retrograde since the middle of October, and that comes to an end on the 2nd of this month. So that's a really good signal. It's going to help you to start moving forwards again. Particularly if things have been a bit stop-start around your resources or the foundations of a situation that you're trying to build up upon, and have been since the end of September when Mercury first went into shadow. But the Sun is in the part of your horoscope that's very much to do with those foundations. And in fact, we're going to have a glorious new moon on the 15th, which really gives you a terrific opportunity to firm things up and to create the reality in terms of your emotional life and the physical place that you are living or working, to get that much more energized and much more to your liking. But as the month begins, the Sun is in opposition with Uranus, the planet of restlessness. Now, Uranus, of course, can be a disruptive influence, and there may be a situation to do with a business, a property matter, shared resources, or perhaps your assets where you have been feeling unsettled. And this might relate right back until the middle of May 18 to the middle of November 18, and then again from March the 7th, 19. And generally, there is a sense that you want to be much more enterprising. If we think of the Magician card in the tarot, that's how I feel about your situation. You want to make the most of any assets, be they your creative talents, be it in terms of where you're invested emotionally in a close, intimate relationship, or around potentially your financial future. Now, because the Sun and Uranus are in opposition, this could bring up a sudden opportunity, but it may require you to make a quick decision. And because you like to think about things very carefully before pitching in, that's kind of counterintuitive. And also at that point, Mercury is still going to be in retrograde. So what I would say is that Uranus opposite the Sun could also be a bit of a challenge. Someone may present you with their view of a situation which is contrasting to yours. But stay cool. In fact, Mercury is going to be challenged in the first 10 days of this month by Saturn. And Saturn, of course, has been such a bugbear over the last near to 2.5 years, as it's mainly been in the sign of Capricorn, apart from that brief sojourn into Aquarius, 22nd of March, 2nd of August this year, going back into Aquarius on the 17th of December this year. But that's put a lot of squeeze on how you're feeling in your environment, how much comfort you have, and also perhaps on some emotional relationships have really cooled down. And it's possible that as you're manifesting the individual plan that's so important for you, someone quite close to you may not be particularly supportive, may be a bit of a damp squib, may pour that proverbial cold water, or may just seem to be utterly disinterested. And that could be very dispiriting. So you must keep the faith. This is really, really important. Now, Venus in your sign can enable you to attract a lot of goodness in your direction through to the 20th of this month. I can't be dishonest that from the 9th, it is challenged in succession by those big three in the sign of Capricorn. So once more, you seem to be battling to find your voice or to get other people to take your needs more seriously, when it always seems to be you who has to be dutiful, or seems to in some way be dissed by their needs, or even in sometimes by faint praise. But keep that faith, because there is a significant trend of progress developing, and it may not be entirely obvious at this point in the month. Because on the 11th, Mercury moves out of your sign, but back into the sign of Scorpio. And that's going to help you, now it's moving forwards from the 2nd, to really start to make sense of converting that idea into something more tangible, which could delight you. By the 19th, I think you're going to see the firm evidence. Also, it's important to say that Mars, which of course has been going retrograde since the 9th of September, in your sector of relating, and of course has been making you a bit feistier at times, asserting your boundaries. Good for you if so, but that's been in a right angle with that cluster of energy in the sign of Capricorn too. For everyone, since the end of July, it's been a very complex period. But Mars going forwards is going to give you more confidence to assert what you need. It's also going to give you more sex appeal. So to have Venus in your sign and Mars in Aries going forwards, they're both in their dignity. Don't underestimate just what a draw you can be. So from the middle of this month, despite the fact that Venus is being challenged by those three planets in Capricorn, it's just a test of your self-belief too. It's not just the energy you're getting from outside. It's how much you're prepared to believe in your allure and what your talents are. So don't be dissuaded, because things are shifting in your direction. Not least on the 15th. We have a glorious new moon, but from the 9th through to the 19th, the Sun's forging a great link with Jupiter, and something that you have been patiently, painstakingly working away at can start to really come together. You can see the substance of what you've achieved, and it can give you such an up. If you're selling a property and you're preparing it for sale, for example, you can be really pleased at how it looks, and I think maybe surprised by what a return you can get. If you're thinking of going into some form of property development, even if it's buying a small property and doing it up yourself, I think this too can be a period of optimism for you. Or if you're wanting to modify the existing abode you have, either decoratively or physically with a new kitchen or bathroom, all these energies are going to be very good for you. Neptune is also linking into the new moon of the 15th. You've been very self-sacrificing since 2012, but I think Mars being in your opposite sign is good, because it's saying there's only so much you can give to others. You have to give to yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. Now on the 21st, life gets seriously exciting because the Sun moves into Sagittarius. So there's going to be a speed up. You're going to feel much more mentally alert. You're going to want to communicate more with people. You're going to want to share information. You may revisit some of your core belief systems. But on the same day, Venus moves into your sector of everyday resources, the sign of Scorpio. I think this can be a really significant time for your finances. A real high point can be reached. And if it's come particularly from a lot of application, a lot of perspiration over a long time, the satisfaction will be absolutely incredible. Now the 29th sees Neptune end its retrograde. So the third retrograde that ends this month after Mercury the 2nd, Mars the 14th, now Neptune. Neptune began its retrograde on the 23rd of June. If work responsibilities have been heavy and you felt physically tired and weary, this will ease now for sure. But on the 30th, we have an annular lunar eclipse. But this is particularly significant. It's in the sister air sign of Gemini. So for you, it's very much about expansion. And you're wanting to feel a bit of excitement as this month comes to a close. If everybody around you welcomes that, that's all to the good. But because of that cluster of energy, potentially still restrictive in terms of Saturn and Pluto particularly, there still could be someone who seems to always put their needs before yours. But I think you're in the mood to escape, and some kind of travel, expansion, more independent approach. Learning could be part of this in some way, whether it's a formal course or it's higher or further education. Something's really going to grab your imagination in a big way. And the reason that this eclipse is so significant is it's breaking the pattern of the last 2 or 3 years where we've had Capricorn and Cancer polar axis, which for you has all been 4th, 10th house. So it's been worldly responsibilities against your personal, individual, emotional needs. And it's really been quite tough at times. With the North Node also in the sign of Gemini, which is very much about expanding your horizons. Sense of excitement is coming towards you, Libra, in such a positive way as this month draws to a close. And I think we're going into an eclipse series now which does feature Gemini and Sagittarius energy. That's much freer for you. It's much more flexing and it's going to set you free. So it's just keep pushing back on the people that are blocking you or your own inner doubts, because a glorious new future is developing which will become so much clearer on the back of the solar eclipse of the 14th of December, and also as Saturn and Jupiter go into Aquarius and come into alliance on the 21st, the winter solstice, and that can be a launch pad for you to go into the new year in sparkling form. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck and stay safe, and goodbye for now.